All right, looks like we're live, and I'm not expecting a lot of viewers right now, but let's make sure it's going out okay. The old YouTube's here, and it sounds good. All right, so yeah, Bechtloff in the morning. I was planning on doing this yesterday, um, but I just didn't feel like it. And right now, I'm just kind of up and not ready to go to bed, so figured I'd do a little stream. I For most of this week, I got stuck on a 7 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. shift because I'm on second shift, and due to the heat wave at the mighty box factory where I work, um, they had to push second shift a little later. They don't have a third shift, so they had to push second shift a little later. There's insurance reasons, fear of heat stroke or that kind of stuff. Plus, the power company actually brownouts a lot of factories with this kind of heat. Late night stream, damn early morning stream for a lot of people. It's 5:07 in the a.m. here on the East Coast. Oh, what is that? 2 a.m. on the West Coast, I guess. I don't know what it is in the rest of the world. That doesn't matter because they don't have a flag on the moon. Um, Speaking of flag on the moon, Owen Benjamin. Have you seen fucking Owen Benjamin's latest goddamn meltdown? So he's rambling on about how his dad like fucked other guys or something. This was recent, just a few years ago, because he talked about being on Twitter or something. Um, Basically, he spills this whole bunch of private shit that I guess his dad and his mom are still together. But he spills all this private shit that frankly, there's a good chance he made it all up, anyways. Um, and then he starts bragging. He's like, not brag. Bragging. He's talking about how his father is such a shitbag, and he's literally bragging about how he's so righteous because he didn't murder his father. That's Owen Benjamin. That man is fucking deranged. It's extremely funny, his derangement, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I can't help but think like this man's gonna fucking go all Jack from The Shining on his family at some point, isn't he? Like that woman that he's married to needs to just take that fucking kid and just go, just fucking get the hell out of there. That man is unstable danger. And you know what? If that does happen, God fucking forbid, if that does happen, that's of course going to make all sorts of news, and it's going to be yet another fucking excuse for them to crack down on anybody to the right of Karl fucking Marx. So good going, Owen, when you inevitably do that. Like the man's fucking deranged. The other thing I saw this on Revenge of the Sith. They were watching the Will Smith. Apparently, Will Smith's a YouTuber now. Will Smith's a YouTuber. Him and Jack Black and a couple other celebrities have decided they're YouTubers. I guess it didn't dawn on me last year when they did the YouTube Rewind or whatever. Why the fuck Will Smith was in it? Like, I it just didn't. I just thought, oh, they got a celebrity to whatever. But no, Will Smith's a YouTuber now. He's got his YouTube channel and all this other shit. And he's got this. He's at Jaden's 21st party, and it's so sickeningly staged, and the stuff going on in the Smith household is so weird and creepy. And like 4chan, I'm not making accusations here. I don't sue me. 4chan, the autistic autistic detectives over at 4chan have long suspected that Will Smith was diddling his son. I look in that kid's eyes, and I think somebody did. Kid, he's 21 now, but um, I I think Will Smith is shitbag. Like, because I got curious with the ROC stuff, so I started looking at more like Will Smith stuff, and yeah, I think there's some nasty shit going on there, and that kind of breaks my fucking heart. Some of you damn kids, you don't fucking remember, but like I remember, I'm fucking old enough to remember when Will Smith was the shit, and he seemed like this upstanding, decent fucking guy. I don't know if he was always a shitbag or maybe if Hollywood get. I don't think everybody in Hollywood is, some fucking satanic pedophile or whatever. But at this point, I'm beginning to think at least the big names are. I don't know. I'm rambling on at 5:11 in the morning. So I'm just kind of bored. Did y'all see the fucking Cats trailer, by the way? Holy hell. Just holy hell. So they made a movie based on the Broadway play from like the 90s, Cats. Now, I never saw the Broadway play because I'm not rich and I'm also heterosexual. But I think I remember seeing it on TV. Like, I think I remember seeing it getting broadcast. I think they put it live on TV once or something back in the day. And Cats is fucking awful. It's like, what the fuck? Why does anybody like this? Star Killer sends $2.79 Canadian dollars, $2.79. So that's cool. I like odd amounts. That's kind of cool. So at least in the Broadway play, the goofy cat suits had some sort of, I don't know, charm to them. But like I don't know if they're how much of it's prosthetic, how much of it's CG. It's probably all CG at this fucking point. I don't want to look at it too fucking hard to figure it out. But point is, they're very, very realistic looking humanoid cat people. Like realistic looking enough that this could be like a Star Trek alien. Remember in the Star Trek cartoon, there was a fucking alien that was like cat people? So you got all these big names in it too. You got Taylor Swift. How about that? She becomes a Democrat and right away she's become a cat lady. Rebel Wilson, Ian McKellen, Jane Judi Dench. And it's so fucking disturbing. And that shit was so popular in the 90s. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember, some of you damn kids. There was a show called The Nanny in the 90s. It was on television. Yes, see, we used to watch television back in the day. And I'm just reminded of it with this Cats thing because the premise was Fran Drescher played some obnoxious New York Jew chick who ends up becoming I know Fran Drescher playing obnoxious New York Jew chick, a real stretch. And she ends up being the nanny for this really rich widower in the the rich end of town. And so this rich guy, his job was he was a producer on Broadway. And there was like 2 running gags, one of which was that he was the last fucking straight guy working on Broadway. And back when you could make those jokes. And the other was that he had passed on Cats. Like somebody came in his office, like somebody tried to pitch him Cats to be a producer for Cats, and he was like, get the fuck out of my office. That's fucking retarded. So that was Cats was like the most fucking longest running and most profitable Broadway show ever. So that was a running gag in that show that, oh, you passed on Cats. And he's like, it was singing, dancing cat people. What the hell was I supposed to think? Yeah, that cat's true. I don't know if I should play that tonight on the old Saturday show. Because you know, the fucking copyrights. I might just have Luke show some stills or something. Uh, Cats first opened in 1981. Really? I did not know that. But I know it was big in the 90s, like the mid 90s. I think 94 or 95 is the first I ever heard of it. But that's when it was fucking huge. That trailer is just so fucking creepy. Like, good lord. Ugh. Like, everybody involved in that should be deeply, deeply ashamed of themselves. Maress was the cat chick's name in the DC Star Trek comics. Age constantly hit on Sulu. Oh, cool. Um, I remember Cats since I was a child in the '80s. Never saw it. I don't really like musicals. I don't like musicals either. Plus, I never really, I don't come from money, so I never went to Broadway shows or something as a kid. Like I said, I vaguely remember Cats getting shown on TV at once. I don't even remember if I watched the whole thing. I just remember that it was on, and it looked really, really fucking gay. Somebody says, I remember when every show took pot shots at cats. Oh yeah, it was such a fucking joke because it was. I don't know. I guess it opened in the '80s, but it was in the mid '90s when I think it hit real like height of its popularity, and yeah, it was. A lot of people couldn't fucking believe that something that weird. Um, Somebody says it's weird to remember the three musicals that were huge when I was young were Cats, Phantom of the Opera, and Les Miserables. I don't know. I was working and hadn't heard of the trailer. Dear God, oh yeah, you should take a look at it. It's. I showed that to my dad today. I'm like, did you know they're doing a? Because I knew it. I knew they had him run TV ads, and his boomer ass only watches TV. I'm like, no, you need to sit down and watch this because I had to see it. So now you do too. If you were going to make that into a movie instead of a play, why wouldn't you just like make a cartoon and make actual fucking cats and just have all these people do voices or something? Why do you have to keep it being fucking weird, creepy cat people? She said the musical was based on poems about cats. How the hell do you make a play on that? I don't know, man. The fags just killed Broadway. They really did. They're doing the same to Hollywood now, but they just killed it. They just fucking killed it. All right. Like there was a time before my time, before I was probably fucking born, where yeah, TV and movies existed, but Broadway was still respectable. You know, it was still somewhat. There were still people who liked Broadway who had at some point nutted in a woman. Uh, to be fair, Phantom is pretty decent. Oh yeah, Phantom of the Opera is pretty good, but that's because that's a real fucking story. It's not singing, dancing cat people. All right. What's the other big trailer? Fucking Rent. Bunch of squatters with AIDS. The musical. It's fan fucking tastic. Musicals seem to be a part of that. The edgy chick saw that tranny musical, Rocky Horror. Oh, I remember when I was a kid, first time I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it was edited for cable, basic cable, but it was on VH1. VH1 used to show that like all the time in fucking October. And I just remember thinking, like, this is fucking gross and weird. Like, I never got into it. I know a lot of people fucking love it. I can't stand it. I just don't get it. So he says Rent was where the voice of Elsa got her start in the 90s. Huh, how about that? Tim Curry was born for that role. I would like to think Tim Curry was born for other things, better things. I like Tim Curry as a character actor. Rocky Horror is a religious ceremony in San Francisco. I never understood it and only saw parts of it, convincing me to not see it. Um, yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me in San Francisco, but yeah, I don't get it. I remember there was an episode of the Drew Carey show that centered around the fact that like him and all his buddies went to go see Rocky Horror Picture Show in the theater like every fucking Halloween or something. And I liked the Drew Carey show. The Drew Carey show was actually pretty good. But I don't understand the appeal of shit like that. But then again, I don't particularly see the appeal of musicals in general, so not a fan. So he says Rocky Horror was just used to piss off the moral police, and now it lost all its bite nowadays. I guess that's part of it. Yeah, maybe at the time when the moral police were more right wing types, maybe something like that was yeah, had a bit more bite. But even in the 90s, that was waning as the case. Let's see. Rent is actually a modern remake of La Boheme. I wasn't aware of that. Little Shop of Horrors and Sweeney Todd are the only musicals I like. I like Little Shop of Horrors. I guess the South Park movie is technically musical. I have a lot of animated movies. I guess you could call musicals because they have a couple of songs in them, like the classic Disney ones and stuff. But I don't know. A lot of the ones that are considered like classics, I don't like. Like I don't like Grease. I fucking hate Grease. Somebody says Meatloaf was in Rocky Horror. Well, that's I'm glad to see Hadrian was getting work. Speaking of which, did you know she's back? Oh, we should talk about that Saturday. Hadrian's back. She was on some live stream with some I don't know, some dude who was just regurgitating a bunch of Manosphere circa 2014 shit. Um, but yeah, she's back. She's saving all the she was giving us all a bunch of wisdom for them big brain Gen Xers. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I hope she comes back like full. I hope she fucking relaunches the Free Folk channel and shit. That'd be great. I really want the Free Folk people to come back. I miss them. I absolutely miss them. Like you got to understand, not only was it a locale and a really, really fucking ridiculous locale, but it was my locale. You know what I mean? Like it was me and you guys. We shared in it. Nobody else cared, right? Somebody says, does Davis still stream? Davis does still stream. He just recently streamed on where the fuck? He went back to Twitch, I think. But he's just so fucking boring, man. The last 2 times I tried to do a fucking outpost on him, it just turned to shit because it was just boring. So he says South Park moving musicals and the Spider-Man musical was funny as hell. Oh, I remember there was a Spider-Man musical play. God, the character designs in it were so fucking gay. Arini's compost. Yes, indeed. The one time I tried to do an outpost, fucking what anonymous douche, his Australian boyfriend, showed up with like fucking 15 sock accounts. Like, we're reporting you for cyberbullying. So he says Sesame Street made fun of the Spider-Man musical. That should tell you how bad it was. I didn't know that, but so he says, didn't someone get killed in the Spider-Man musical? Yeah, the victim's name was Theater. No, I think you're right though. I think somebody did die doing that once. Oh man, I remember I got thrown off. There's a site called Comic Boards, and they just back in the day when there were people used message boards a lot. I got fucking show it off there because they were just starting to crack down on all the homophobic speech, and the costume designs in that were so gay. Like the Green Goblin costume, I called it the Green Gobbler, and there was a villain I think called Swissmas in there, and I joked I called it the Silver Sodomite, and they were having none of it. So. So he says, too bad there isn't any cyber locker stuffing. It's almost impossible to make fun of fucking Davis anymore. I mean, well, it's still possible, but like to just sit down and really listen to his streams, and there's not enough fucking material. And it's not because he stopped being a locale. It's just that he became fucking boring. He's just so boring. It's like that Family Guy bit where Quagmire tells off Brian. It's like, I could forgive all that if you weren't such a bore. Thoughts on the Gang of Four? Are you talking about the Justice Democrats like AOC and the Muslim chick and the other 2 people no one remembers? I gotta say, I've said before, I think AOC can tap into a lot of undercurrents in American politics. I think she's more popular than people give her credit for. But I don't think really running with the abolish ICE shit is going to work for him there. I don't think that's doing him any good. I think I don't think in their kerfuffle with Trump here, when he told them go back to their countries, I don't think it did them a lot of good here. Somebody says, is it wrong to marry your brother? Oh yeah, that's right. What's her name? Allah Akbar, whatever, the fucking Muslim chick. AOC's Muslim sidekick. I can't remember her fucking name, but I've heard she's married to her brother. Oh, what the fuck, man? So he says, you see the new DuckTales poster? They're bringing all the 90s Disney afternoon characters in the show. Well, I know they worked Darkwing Duck into it in an actually interesting way. It started off being a show within a show, but then there's sort of a real Darkwing Duck now in the show. They had one of the characters from Tailspin, one of the bad guys in it. I can't remember the name because I never liked Tailspin as a kid. And they even worked the gummy bears in there. So Yeah, the new DuckTales is pretty good. Somebody says, was Jesus white? I would guess he was not. No. Um, I would imagine he looked like a Middle Eastern Jew. Um, Donovan Moreland says the left is dancing and dodging. Trump is enjoying Big Mac, and all the less war dance and rain dances aren't getting them rally numbers or donation money. Trump has a war chest like a country. Yeah, the Democrats are not doing well right now. I'm not even really paying attention to their primary right now. I found the AOC versus Pelosi Democrat Civil War more interesting to pay attention to. Oh, fuck, man, this is gonna screw up my Saturday. I'm probably gonna crash when I'm done with this. I gotta make sure I don't want to sleep a whole bunch. I don't want to sleep away my fucking Saturday. Thankfully, I'm back on a regular schedule this coming week. So they're bringing in the Wuzzles in the show. The Wuzzles, I don't think anyone remembers the show, got overshadowed by gummy bears. I don't really remember the Wuzzles now. Somebody says, thoughts on America's healthcare system? I don't know. Obamacare's fucked up. I'm glad that that's getting kicked out the door. Who do you think will win the Dem primary? My first guess would have been Biden, but he's losing his grip on it. If not Biden, I'd say probably that black chick. What's her name? Harris or Warren. Maybe Bernie, but I really don't think they're going to let Bernie have it. So he says the writers are saying Captain America was originally getting his head cut off by Thanos in Endgame. Huh, interesting. So he says Tom Steyer doesn't stand a chance. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Outage fan says Black Widow was originally going to be caring for children orphaned by the snap. That would have been cool. That actually would have been cool. I basically consider the MCU movies done at this point. I'm not going to see the new Spider-Man, which I guess that's already out, and I don't have any interest in really anything else that's getting announced. I mean, maybe I'm not. Oh, I'll definitely never see it. I don't know if something catches my interest, fine, but pretty much done with it. Your Taskmaster is supposed to be the villain in the Black Widow prequel. Okay, sure. Like I said, I doubt I'm going to be watching any more of them. She's Bernie can't even guarantee 15 an hour for his own campaign workers. That's true. They're making Taskmaster black for the Black Widow movie. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Why would I expect anything else? Yeah, it's fucking Hollywood for you. There's a reason I don't go to the movies much anymore. Just less and less and less. Um, there's a reason I don't watch TV basically anymore. What do I watch now? I watch The Orville. That's a show I like. It's not on right now. It's in between seasons, but I like that show. I guess I'll probably get caught up with Flash and Arrow at some point. I fell behind. I fell off that. And what else? There's some stuff like I'll watch if I remember to watch it. Like I like Archer. I like Family Guy. Some of the Adult Swim stuff I like Robot Chicken. I think that's still on. I think Aqua Teen's done, but I used to like that a lot. I'll watch some of that shit, but I've rarely even turned the TV on anymore. Like Rick and Morty's coming back. I'll probably watch Rick and Morty. Yeah, I know the fan base is fucking obnoxious. I know the guy that makes it's a fucking cock. It's still a funny cartoon. Yeah. Um. So he says, "Would it matter if Taskmaster was black? He's still a good villain. He's a great villain actually. He was for a long time one of my favorite Marvel villains. I just don't have any fucking faith in the MCU going forward. You know, if I see a bunch of trailers and it looks good, maybe I'll check it out. But he said, look up Adult Swim's Primal. It's like Caveman Conan the Barbarian. I'll check it out. But the point is, like, I don't really watch TV anymore. You know, nothing. I think the only show I truly, really, really like right now is The Orville. The Orville's a damn good show. You know, it's basically everything I once loved about Star Trek, but you know, a lot more heart, a lot more humor, and considerably less autism. John Steele says presidential candidate John Hickenlooper said he watched Deep Throat with his mom. Well, that's just fucking disturbing. Watching my mom watch deepthroat.com. How about that? He says, have TV and movies finally stopped getting worse? I don't think so. The fucking did you see the Cats trailer? No, I'd say it has not stopped getting worse. And you know what? Cats is probably going to win a fucking Oscar. I'm not kidding. I guarantee you they're going to throw fucking awards at that. They're going to tell you that you're wrong for not liking it and all this other shit. You know what occurred to me? Like in the pre-internet days, they would have gaslit everybody into thinking that that movie looked great. You know, all the critics would have been bought off, and you know, we wouldn't have been talking to each other on. It just would have been like it wouldn't have done well, and but yeah. Buddy Smith says we don't need to bleed. Why many women are giving up on periods. These idiots genuinely believe that menstruation serves no purpose and are taking contraception to effectively sterilize themselves. So he said I picked up some old Boris Karloff movies. Night Key was awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to the movies now. There's plenty of great old movies. You know. As for the contraception thing, I don't really get I don't get the need for the pill. I don't trust the pill. I don't trust when a woman says she's on the pill. I don't think I wouldn't. I remember back in the day, one of my girlfriends wanted to go on the pill. A girl I was seeing, and I was seeing for a very long time, cared about her very much, and I was like, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, there's no reason. I can just wear a rubber. It's fine. Oh, it doesn't feel good. It'd be fine. Okay, I can pull out. It'll be fine. Like that. You don't need to. You don't need to mess with your hormones. Just don't do it. I look. I think a lot of in our circles. I think a lot of the oh, the pill's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. So dangerous. I don't trust that either because I know that there's an axe to grind. Like I know when a lot of these people are going on about all the dangers of the pill, they just don't like the pill. They just don't like the fact that they're like the trad Catholics, for example, and really a lot of the more conservative Protestants are the same way. They don't like the fact that contraception is a thing, you know. And if tomorrow it was proven that there are no negative side effects whatsoever, they'd lie and say they were. That said, though, the other side of it is hiding the fact that there are far more negative side effects than they lead on to. So yeah, my advice, I don't think the pill's necessary. You know, there's no reason to mess with your hormone balance when I can just finish in your mouth. Where it's okay, you know. But yeah, I tend to think condoms are probably the best contraception. Or if you it doesn't feel as good, you could go with like a diaphragm or something. Those work best. Um, so he says thoughts on the anime studio that got burned and then people killed. Apparently, it's the biggest death incident in Japan. I haven't heard anything about that, so I couldn't tell you. Um, John Steele says there have been some great TV shows semi recently, Breaking Bad and True Detective. Yeah, I've heard good things about both. It's one of those things where it's kind of they're both shows that I've been meaning to like binge watch at some point. Somebody says, "Have you read about the mouse utopia experiment?" Yes, I have. I've talked about that on here before. In my opinion, it's kind of I shouldn't say proof, but evidence of the existence of souls. Um, yes, even in animals, I believe animals have souls. But to me, I mean, you look at that experiment, and you know what should happen is the population should increase until it reaches the level that the containment can sustain, and at that point, it should either plateau or maybe even a sharp drop down. But that's never what happens. Never. They get about halfway there, and then they all go insane. Their spirits break. Uh, it's just that simple. Every time they run that experiment, their tiny little spirits break. And if those mice were nothing more than biological machines, just little meat robots, like all the atheists tell us all living things are, like even some of my fellow Christians tell us just animals are, then yeah, they should get to their population should increase to the level the mouse utopia thing is able to hold, and then either plateau or drop down. That's never what happens. It's about halfway there, and then they all go insane. So, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, that's considerable evidence that those little mice are not merely little meat robots. They have little spirits. And I know a lot of people use it. Well, this also shows you how welfare corrupts you. And yeah, it shows that too. So he says mice and men have limit to the number of social interactions they can have in a day. I know I do. Some days that limit's zero. Thinking Chief says copper IUD is best for long term contraception. Condoms are best for short term. Well, yeah, I'll go with that. And I mean, condoms are like you can get them anywhere. Like most gas stations have condoms. That means that you have access to them 24/7, 365 days a year. Like 3:30 in the morning, on Thanksgiving morning or Christmas morning or some Easter morning, some holiday, everything's shut down. You can get condoms. Okay, just go get some rubbers. It's easy, guys. Yeah. Which is going to get more Z's. Have a good morning, y'all. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that here soon too. So it says I can't finish using a condom. It's too desensitizing. I've never had a problem with it. I don't know. Maybe you need some better pussy. You need that ginger pussy. It's like a fucking bear trap. You trust me. You feel it through the condom. You need the condom just to make sure she doesn't yank your fucking soul out through your dick. Bill the candlestick maker sends $2. No message. Thank you very much. So he says, is that the dog snoring in the background? That is the dog snoring in the background. Yes, indeed. He is snoring away. So he says, look up Mad TV old skit about adult Disney fans that were right on the money about those Spurgs. Fandom in general are just like I said, I really like the Orville. So I joined like a Facebook Orville group, and I think I'm about to leave it because everybody on there is fucking retarded. Like they just want to argue about like what famous, mostly Star Trek actors they want to see guest star. And it's fucking exhausting. Like, who the hell cares? They just want to share like really shitty memes half the time. And it's like that so many times with so many fucking fan groups. It's just. So he said, did you see Red Letter Media's predictions for the next Star Wars? It would be a glorious disaster. I wish they do it. Yeah, I can't. I don't really follow Red Letter Media too much, and I especially don't give a shit about anything about Star Wars. I didn't really like Star Wars that much when it was good. So. Oh yeah, here's another story. Hang on a second. So good old Alan Moore has announced he's retiring from the comic book industry. Yeah, a mere the man's barely written anything worth reading since Reagan was in office. Yeah, you'll be sorely missed. Oh, I fucking hate Alan Moore, and I don't hate Alan Moore's writing. A lot of Alan Moore's writing I really really like. Killing Joke's really good. Watchmen is good. And this other shit. His Swamp Thing stuff was really good. That one Superman annual he did where Mongol had through that Black Mercy plant on Superman, it made him like live his perfect life in his head as the plant was draining his life force. That was a good annual. Like he's written some great stuff. He's overrated as all fuck, but he's written some good stuff. I don't know. Like Watchmen is so overrated, and it's good. It really is good. Like I know Razor Fist would go off like, "Oh, Watchmen's terrible. It sucks." Like no, it's not terrible. It doesn't suck. Watchmen is good, but that's all it is. It's good. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a deconstruction, and deconstructions just aren't that fucking good. They're good once in a while, but they primarily appeal to people who want to feel smarter than everything. That's the people who primarily love deconstructions type stories. Yeah, basically, sort of like a certain guy I used to unfortunately associate with. That's who loves those kind of stories. But yeah. Oh fuck. Oh, finally getting tired. I think I'll probably try and get some sleep here soon. So he says, Watchmen was the first time I saw a villainous monologue used as a distraction while the plan was going on. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, Watchmen's a good read. Don't get me wrong, man. Watchmen is a good read. If you're into superhero comics, you should at some point read Watchmen. But it's not the end all be all of superhero books. It's not even close. Hell, at the end of the day, I actually highly suggest reading like the 60s like the old Silver Age Charleston comics character stories that all the Watchmen characters are based off of. Like how Night Owl is based on Blue Beetle. The Question is Rorschach is based on The Question. Like it's Action Heroes Archives Volume 2, which is this big, expensive ass hardcover. But you can probably find it cheaper on Amazon or whatever now. But it has a bunch of the old Steve Ditko Question and Blue Beetle stories from the 60s. Like, honestly, that's a better read than Watchmen, really. John Steele says, is Elizabeth Warren an Indian? Elizabeth Warren is not an Indian. Elizabeth Warren is so not an Indian that it's proof of how God has a sense of humor. Think about it. This woman runs around claiming she's Native American, then gets her DNA tested, and it turns out she has no fucking Native American. You know how hard it is to find a white person in North America who has any kind of family history on this continent who doesn't have some Native in them? Like every third or fourth white motherfucker on this continent has 1/16th or 1/32nd or 1/64th something India. I'm 1/32nd Native American myself. I don't run around claiming I'm last of the fucking Mohicans because of it, but that is nonetheless a part of my heritage. Especially in the Midwest, because a lot of daughter selling went on in the turn of the last century. But yeah, that's proof God has a sense of humor. So he says, I really like those old Charleston heroes. The one who doesn't get any love is sort of Vulcan Cloud, have been the DC version of Thor when they got all those characters. I'm not even really familiar with Vulcan Cloud, if I'm being honest with you. The big three of Captain Atom, Blue Beetle, and Question are my big favorite. You know, something that was really disappointing. A little while ago, Grant Morrison did a story arc called Multiversity, where he was like exploring the multiverse in DC, and he was gonna and one of the things that caught my attention to it was he was going to feature a new Charleston Earth, an Earth based that where it was just the Charleston heroes on it. And I was so excited for it. And basically, he just regurgitated Watchmen using the Charleston characters. Like, oh man, that's so fucking annoying. But then Grant Morrison's one of those guys that, I mean, he's written some great stuff, but he also climbs up his own ass. So he said, I never understood why she published the results. So he says, what's your Indian name? Dances with Bulbasaurs, I guess. I don't know. There was a series where it was like a team. It was set in the DC universe, but it was something like Law, LAW acronym kind of thing, like L period, A period, W period. And it was like a lot of the Charleston characters, but it was set in the DC universe. It was the DC universe versions of them kind of forming a team briefly. I read it years and years ago, but I really can't remember a damn thing about it. I'll have to go back and try and find those issues and read them again. Judo Master and Son of Vulcan are overlooked because Alan Moore didn't create different versions of them for Watchmen. So he says, what vid was Hadroon on? Fuck, I don't remember. If you watch the Dashing Rogues channel, which not many people do, it has even less views than mine. But I popped into one of his streams just bored on Sunday, and we were watching the thing. Oh shit! Pardon me. I think I'm probably gonna have to get to bed here soon. God, it's almost 6. Oh man, I want to sleep away my whole Saturday, but I got to get some sleep. So he said, "Did Furburger die?" No, maybe I don't fucking know. I was gonna say no, I don't think he did, but now I think about it, I don't fucking know. So he says, "Dashing Rogue stream seems good. Your habit of cursing like a sailor seems to have rubbed off on him, though. What about that?" Yeah, a lot of the early Charleston stuff that I read was, like you said, the 60s stuff. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm going to be yawning up a storm. I should go to bed here soon. I missed Ted Cord Blue Beetle. One of the biggest disappointments of Arrow to me was they never went ahead and did Ted Cord Blue Beetle. They kept hinting around to it. Like Ted Cord exists in that world. Like the Cord Industries kept getting referenced, and I was like, please do a Blue Beetle. Oh man, I want to see a live action Blue Beetle. It'll be so bitching. So he says Saturday night stream gonna suck because of this. Oh no, I'll be awake for that. The only So he says, does bearded Ted Cruz remind you of evil Spock? Yeah, we maybe that's why Ted Cruz is like way more cool now. We swapped he swapped universes. And this is a Ted Cruz ain't taking no shit. Oh man. Well, I think I'm gonna go to bed. So folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. We got PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wishlist. And you know what? Let me throw in a link to the Discord in the chat because I don't know. Some of you might not be in the Discord. You should be in the Discord. Discord's fun on the bun. I should probably just do a fucking permanent link and put them in the video descriptions. Because I'm not a pussy like fucking Davis who has to turn his Discord into a hug box. Alrighty there. There's a link to the Discord in the chat. At least for today. I don't know, I guess if you're watching this like a week later, it probably won't work. Oh, good God. Oh, I gotta get to bed. All right, Fix. That's it for this morning. Thanks for watching. Bechtloff out.